school yearbook. Now, I just turned on the fan. This fan was my mother-in-law's fan, and it didn't work. And I called the electrician, and it was missing a little electronic part, and I couldn't find it anywhere in Israel. So I took a picture of it, and I sent it to Eugene, and I told him go to Granger's off of Security Boulevard. And a couple of weeks later, actually, I think it may have been Mark Lussman that brought it when he came for one of the smachot, and now my fan works. So it's good to have you, Eugene. I got nobody, so if anybody wants to move back to Baltimore, so I got somebody to call. Or leave me your father's number, maybe that'll help. All right, I'm going to go around the room, no specific order. This young man is my nephew, Rabbi Jonathan David Bishop, right? There you go. The day he was born was Tisha B'Av. I won't tell you what year, I'll be nice to him. But you sent the same message that I sent, because it was their third son, and I wrote, what did I write, 6 more for a baseball team, and you wrote 2 more for a basketball team. This was the telegrams we sent to Eugene when he was born, back in the day. This gentleman labeled Deitch goes back to high school with Eugene. You can check the yearbook. This is Eugene's yearbook picture. Whoa. And you can see by the fact he graduated at 16, he shaved as early as I did, somewhere around 20, I guess. Next to label is Zalman Deitch, who was the next year after this in TA. And Mrs. Zalman Deitch, Ricka, correct? This gentleman here is a man by the name of Mikhail Tal. Mikhail Tal sat next to me. You'll probably tell this story better than I will, but we met at a wedding, Abelo's son's wedding, and he was sitting next to me, and we mentioned we're from Baltimore. He said, oh, I'm going to Baltimore for my sabbatical. I said, okay, give me your email address. And I
You were looking for an apartment?
Well, he told me he's going to move to Baltimore, and he said, all right, give me your email address. I sent it to Eugene, and that's really the end of the story. Everything else was taken care of, but he may have more to say on that than I. But he was surprised. I wasn't surprised. I know Eugene. I knew Eugene. The young lady back here is Aviva Lazarus, connected to this Altakacher here, who goes back, next to me, he goes back farther than anybody else with Eugene. He goes back to Eugene to 1955. Wow. I was, huh? Where is she? Oh yeah, I'll get to her next. I didn't want to tell you about it. I was going to tell you about it, she was your wife, but she didn't go report it to the police that you hit her on the way over here. Okay. The gentleman behind Aviva is my son-in-law Yaakov and my other son-in-law Meir. My brother-in-law David, who I guess knew Eugene a little bit through the family, through Mizrahi, through Baltimore, and my sister-in-law, of course, who knew him. With all the family smachot and what goes with it. This is Devorah Deitch, who goes with black label. And next to her is Ariella Beckleiter Cohn. She goes back to my father, Oliver Shalom Shul in Baltimore. My mother used to go to your mother to get her hair or nails done at Vase. And the Sheitlach. I remember my sister, when she was getting married, she went to your mother with me because she wanted to get a sheitel to match my hair, not white. I was a redhead at one time. Fixed my kippah. My kippah is unfixed. Before we go further, that young lady is my wife Miriam, who you may all know from her famous recordings. Kulolam, whatever they call it there, you have to look at it, you'll see her right out front. And I have to thank her very much. And she didn't do this for me, she did this for Eugene. No. And
still have to thank you very much.
I said thank you very much. And I thank her for you also. That's my son, Ellie.
Really?
Thank you for giving me Ellie, ma'am. I had dark hair before he was born. Next to Ellie is his son, Rafi, who is going to see to it that Ellie gets white hair, along with Zachariah, who is our guest of honor here. He's our only under bar mitzvah invited guest because he's making the siyum on Seder. Zroim and Moed, so everybody has to eat twice as much. Okay? And there's his little sister, what's her name again? Shlomit. And on the other side here, the guy with the camera who's supposed to come up to each of you to say and introduce yourself. So please do that. Tzvi, you'll go to everybody and let them introduce themselves when you send it to your grandmother.
Sure.
This is Yoni's son, Tzvi. And next to him is Yoni's niece, Kira, from Denver. And Zial has finished the army. It was Eugene's, I think it was his wallpaper on his phone for his service. Adina Gertz goes back as far as David. Where's David?
No, David goes back further.
David goes back further.
Oh,
And
we got
David's
married.
mother goes back even further than that. And as a matter of fact, she is waiting for homework assignments from you three guys. Yeah, there's Jeremy Lussman, and it's in the corner there filming. Oh, animated for you. Since we did Henry Lazarus Against goes back to 1955, which was what, the 8th grade? Which was ninth grade, which was 3 of his best years in school. David Gertz goes back, I don't know when you met Eugene, but it goes back a couple years. And I remember he lent me a skeleton for teaching about the Philip. Remember that? He was at the University of Maryland Medical School, and I came to school with a skeleton to teach anatomy and physiology. And of course, the class named the skeleton after me. But anyway, Danny Hain also goes back close to 100 years, 1971. Steve and Annette remained good friends with Eugene, even though he introduced them to each other and made the shidduch. Annette was Eugene's neighbor from Baltimore. Steve was my classmate. Going back to 54, 55, 56.
Yeah.
2nd grade we met.
Wow.
This is Mrs. Chana Tal, goes together with Michael. Adina I introduced. I got Tzvi and I got Kira. And where are the Wiener Grimes? Oh, Yossi. And behind Yossi is Yehudit. Your cousins, by the way, live across the street, by the way. I have to introduce you. They're related to the, from Yeshivat, the Terakmani, the Rosh Yeshiva there, so that goes back to you guys. Yeah, from the old city, but he lives across, anyway. Yehudit and Yossi were the Shlichei B'nai Akiva, or RZA, or Mizrahi in Baltimore. When was this?
1980 to 1983.
1980, 1983, and Baltimore is a tough town for people who are in B'nai Akiva and Mizrahi, and I think I'd be fair in saying that Eugene made it a little bit easier. And there was, Baruch Hashem, there's quite a few people here as a result of that shlichut, so thank you very much. We personally, again, Miriam I introduced. We have Mrs. Yoni Harrigan, what's your name again? Rifki, there you go. Rifki and
Fisher. Mrs. Yoni.
Where's Ilana? I know Ilana's here, I can't see her. Where is she?
Sorry, I'll wait.
Oh, come on, pick up the
right here.
Ilana Goldscheider Fisher. We arranged for the benefit of the world when my daughter Ilana Fisher got married and we no longer had an Ilana Fisher, so we arranged that Ilana Goldscheider should marry Fisher, so we always have an Ilana Fisher. Ironically, her husband is Calvin Stevens. That's Harvey's Ilana's brother-in-law. Oh, this is a tough one, you have to follow this. My son's wife's brother, my son's brother-in-law, Ellie's name is Moshe Eliezer Fisher.
Who is?
And he has a brother-in-law whose wife's sister married her brother-in-law, who is Moshe Eliezer Fisher. So this guy has 2 brothers-in-law, each live a block away, and their names are both Moshe Eliezer Fisher. You go figure the odds on that one. Okay. Who else is back there? The rest of you guys back there are Baruch Hashem, my children and grandchildren who I love dearly. There's my Ilana.
And some that you don't love dearly.
Yeah. That's Ellie Moshe Eliezer Fisher. That's Yael Leah Friedman, who's related to Yaakov Friedman, who was right there a minute ago. Ilana in the black outfit with the necklace is Mrs. Mayor Diner. That's my granddaughter Hadassah. Behind her is my granddaughter Michal. And next to her is my granddaughter Ruchama. who's very shy, by the way. Next to her is my daughter Ariel, my grandson Eliyahu, and Yehuda, and Rafi, and that's the cast of characters, and Svi with the camera. My name is Itzi Fisher, and this is Makaria.